Welcome to the Daily B Show with Matty B. Guys, episode 42, we've got Jared Grantham here today, and it's going to be a pretty interesting convo. Really grateful to be connected with Jared. We met just through online connections. One person led to another, and 6 degrees of separation these days seems to be 1 or 2. And I've been just blessed to have the opportunity to learn from Jared and his partner Abby, and be connected with himself and a lot of the people in his network as well, which is absolutely amazing. And so we're going to jump on, have a bit of a chat, talk about love, leadership, and just see where it goes. Get into a bit of flow, and I've got no doubt that we're going to be dropping some nuggets and just delivering some epic value for you guys. So hope everyone's having an amazing Christmas and New Year's and holiday break, or whatever you're going to celebrate this time of year, spending time with loved ones, and if you're by yourself, enjoying yourself and doing what you do best. I am here with my family down in Victoria at the moment. Actually it's the first day that we've all been together for probably maybe 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So it's really cool just having everyone in the one place and actually having an opportunity to, I don't know, just sort of see what the vibe's like. You know, you grow up together in the same household for so long, and then life takes you all in your own separate directions, and then it's amazing that you're not in the same spot for so long. But anyway, there's still a lot of love there. And hey Matt, hey Jared, we'll be epic. Yeah, there's little sis. So yeah, I'm sure you guys are doing what you're doing, enjoying the holiday season. So let's get Jared. Hey buddy, here he pops in. Sweltering as well in this used to be our games room. It's basically a tin shed that Mum's decked out for a massage room now. We've got these little owls and whatnot. But excuse my hotness. I'm sure he won't mind. Speaking of hotness, here he comes. Let the magic begin. Hey Jackie. Amethyst, yeah, tell me about it, right? It's beautiful. Yeah, she's got a few actually. She's got a few crystals here. She's got all sorts of stuff. She loves these little gremlins. The local lady makes these things, and apparently they're really expensive. Mum loves them, so. All right, that didn't work for some reason, Jared. Let's give that another go. Here we go. The beauties of lives. Good to see you guys on. Thanks for joining us. Really good to have you. And yeah, I'm sure you guys are just as excited as me to have a chat with Jared and just soak up and absorb some of his amazing energy and just some of his wisdom as well. I've only been following him and Abby for maybe, well, not even 6 months, to tell you the truth, when I first was introduced to them by a friend. And yeah, since then they've definitely show up with a lot of consistency and delivering a lot of nuggets. And they've been obviously doing this work for a long time. And the people that they have impacted and the people that I know that work with them have they've got some amazing results. Hence why I'm so excited to chat with Jared and continue working with him and learning from him and Abby as well. So it's really, really cool. So something's not jumping in, bro? Let me know what's going on your end. Tegan. Mum, I think her Facebook page. I think you just look up Mum. Oh, don't look up Mum, look up Carol Graham. Look up Mum.
There I am.
Yeah. Hey, bro,
amazing.
How are you?
Incredible. How are you?
Oh, I'm so warm. You're making me hot in that long sleeve black shirt. Oh no, it's a short sleeves one still. It's really warm up in Victoria today. It's like 40 degrees or something crazy.
Yeah, now speaking of which, I was literally just melting. So
yeah, cool. We can melt together.
Yes, of course. And everybody else can join us too.
Absolutely. So first of all, Jared, thanks man for jumping on and joining me today and just being here to sort of share your energy, your knowledge, your wisdom, your love, and be here for everyone in my network who there's a lot of people that do know who you are and what you're about and what you and Abby have been up to and the amazing impact you guys are having. And I was just sharing as well, like I'm so blessed to have been just introduced to you guys through a couple of friends, and since then been able to just learn from you and absorb, a lot of your wisdom as well. And more recently, actually connect with you one-on-one and have an opportunity to really soak up and feel what you're all about, which is exactly why I wanted to just continue on that snowball of what you guys are doing and share what you're up to with my network. So, I mean, that's what I've sort of experienced so far, but can you sort of introduce yourself and where you're at and what's going on for yourself as well, for those that don't know you already?
Yeah, beautiful. So obviously my name is Jared and I'm a liberation alchemist. And basically what that means is I create liberation where there is none, So everyone knows the book, The Alchemist, which is the young man that goes on that journey and to find his purpose essentially.
I got
And
that for
that was
Christmas this year from my sister.
Oh, beautiful. That was a really, really big part of my journey, that book. I read it twice in the first time. When I first received it as an audiobook, I listened to it twice, and one day it hit me so deeply, So that kind of name just sort of stuck with me. And what I feel in moving forward, because the other word you could say for me is coach, but I feel like as moving forward, we're more guides than we are coaches telling people what to do. It's showing them the way and opening up space for people, So
I agree,
my journey has been very powerful, very deep, very eventful, and I've kind of seen two sides of the same coin. I've seen success in the means of the financial success with money and women and sex and drugs and all of that BS. And now I get the same amount of enjoyment out of meditation, breath work, and just being present in the moment, So my journey's been interesting. It's been fun, and I've had plenty of deep experiences.
So one of the things that I've been, or that's come into contact with me recently, which I've just stuck to like glue, has been the hero's journey, and just how profound all those archetypal descriptions of that journey has resonated not only with where I'm now, but it's sort of completely aligned with what has happened, where I am now, and I can see what's coming up in front of me. But on that, going from the success that you did have in the material world, and then now what you find in what you're doing, can you explain that journey a little bit in more detail? Because I know there's a lot of people maybe dip their toe in the water, or maybe having a look at what that looks like. But for someone that's gone that and bridged that gap, what was that like for you? And can you go into a bit more detail?
Yeah, beautiful. So to create some context, so the life that the person that I was in the past was someone that had the good life, or even the great life. I was the lucky one. I was the one that had it all figured out. I had an expensive car. I had an incredible job. I worked 7 months of the year and took the rest of the year off and traveled the world and got to learn whatever I wanted to learn and attend the best seminars, all that kind of stuff. And what happened was I spent so much time doing unconscious addictions and patterns that I didn't realize were detrimental. And all the while, my ego was blocking me from the truth about who I actually was. And what I was settling for was a really, really, really good life, which was holding me from an exceptional life. And if you'd have told me 5 years ago that where you would find success now is in the simplest of things, just being present with yourself, I would have laughed in your face. But the reality of it is it's the perfect story, because I have grown in a way where I understand where people are at in the realms of being caught up in the 3D, getting caught up in science, getting caught up in what's tangible, and getting caught up in what we can actually see, and what social media, and everything else alike teaches us that success is. So I did that to the full extent. I had the girlfriends that were fitness models, that were Instagram famous and all that kind of stuff. And I was driving $90,000 cars, and just, my life looked incredible. It looked like I had everything one person could need. But when I checked in with myself, there was this empty feeling deep within. And for about 4 years, about 4 years ago, that feeling started to become present. I started to actually become conscious that I was living in an illusion. But then what happened is I had so many addictions to drugs, to sex, to alcohol, to the scene, and to just compulsive negative thought patterns and emotional eating patterns, that I couldn't actually see what was the next step to get me to where I wanted to be. All I knew was that I felt stuck and lost and empty. So what then manifested through, I co-created with an ex-partner of mine, was an experience that led me to experiencing PTSD and severe panic disorder. Now, I say co-created because I couldn't completely blame her for how it unfolded and what happened, all those things. But the reality of it is every single step of the way, we are responsible for how we show up, for who we be, for the choices we make. Everything is always on us. So I allowed it into my life. I allowed it to be present. I allowed myself to grow from that place. I allowed myself to let that be present, even though deep down I knew it wasn't serving me. So then, out of an inability to end a relationship that was toxic, I then started to experience anxiety, which I'd experienced for about 6 years, but it started to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Now I know that anxiety is an alarm system letting you know that something needs to shift. But back then, I just thought, well, I didn't even know what a panic attack was, yet I was having them daily. I was having them 4 times a day for 45 minutes at a time, and I was basically afraid I was going to die, like my brain was going to explode, my heart was going to explode, my whole body would collapse in on itself. That's how I was feeling. That's what I was thinking. That it left me no space to continue to play small, to continue to live in a fake illusion of success. It gave me no space to pretend like I was happy anymore. It basically said, well, the universe basically said to me, we are giving you this because we gave you a million signs and you never watched or listened or paid attention. So now we're giving you a Mack truck and an avalanche, and we're hitting you with a baseball bat at the same time because this is the only way that you're actually going to wake up to what's actually present. So that's then led me to, through that, what saved me and what really gave me back my spark and my inner peace was I was investing money in myself prior to that. I was reading all the books. I had all of the knowledge, but I struggled with embodiment. I struggled with practicing and the feelings of what I was learning. So that was around the time when I started to really dive into breathwork, yoga, meditation, and I started getting coached myself, and what was unfolding was I would do yoga and it would give me at least a small space of time where I wouldn't experience anxiety. And it was like a Band-Aid fix, but it was also a segue into something greater, into a community that had an alternate way of living. Because from there, then I found meditation, then I found the deeper layers of breath work, and then essentially my journey really started kicking off, and I started to really find out who I was. It was about two years ago, roughly, give or take, when I found who I actually truly was and started living from that place. And then it's been a journey of growth from there. And something I always speak about with my clients, with friends on Facebook Lives is like, there's a massive difference in growing when you don't know who you are, as opposed to going through an experience that reminds you to the deepest points of who you actually are, and then growing from alignment is 2 different things. Because what I was doing prior was growing from a place of not knowing, from searching something outside of myself. But then when you find that beautiful essence within, it's all good. When you find that beautiful essence within, and you grow from that place, that's when you blossom, flourish, and can move leaps and bounds.
We got the family Christmas too coming on today.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Good wave. Joshy. One thing that stuck out for me, and thanks for your patience there, was that with I feel like the people that are coming to you and the people that you're surrounded with now are somewhat in the work already, like a fair depth into their own sort of personal work. And what I'm finding stepping new into this work is that a lot of the conversations I'm having with people are with people that have not even opened up to it or aren't even aware of it yet. And that concept of taking full responsibility and everything happening here for us is such a massive point of contention for people that haven't even opened up to this work yet. Can you share your experiences with that? Because I'm sure you would have had that at the start, and you're probably well versed in talking on that point now with the experience that you've got. So can you touch on that for those that either are starting or haven't even looked at that, and what that means and how you share that, express that?
Yeah, of course, man. So one thing that I know to be the truth is that what gets thrown out a lot these days is a spiritual awakening and becoming conscious, waking up or being woke, whatever it might be, which is all beautiful. And what I've grown to realize is that, somebody could wake up tomorrow and find a deeper place of embodiment than someone that's been in the work for 20 years. That's what I'm experiencing now. And what's interesting is there's elements of the collective ego that's out there saying, I've been in the work for so long, that means this. But the truth is that's fucking bullshit, and that doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
what I've experienced in my growth and with some of the people that I've worked with is that they go deep for 6 months, 12 months, and let go of so much of their limiting beliefs and so much of their cultural conditioning and so much of the stuff that's holding them back. That's sitting with them and conversing with that person, as opposed to someone that's been in the work for 15, 20 years, that's got all of these old fashioned programming and conditioning around what spirituality or being conscious or self-development really is this beautiful freshness, this beautiful just like innocence and freshness and ability to grow faster because it hasn't got this heaviness of like, oh, well, I know better, I know this, I know what I should be doing. All of that kind of egoic block that they put up. There's actually a beautiful thing in someone that has got less of the self-development conditioning, so to speak, and is open to everything, that's had hit a point in their life where they're like, you know what? Something needs to change. And then they energetically connect with you, and they're just like, and you're the person to support me with that. You know, so what I do love to see, I mean, depending on the offering, like something like embodiment, like our retreat, that's more for the people that are really deep in the work. And then you have like become, which is like it's like a segue point. It's like a bridge, and it houses within it people that are like NLP master practitioners and like all kinds of crazy, amazing healers and all kinds of stuff, down to people that have only done yoga and meditated once or twice in their entire life. You know, and what's beautiful about that space is it brings everyone back down to humility and remembrance that there is no space between me and you. It's just a thought, a concept, and what people want to perceive as being enlightened or whatever, or woke, whatever it might be, you know. So coming back to your question, it's like what I do find is we're still attracting both, and we're also starting to attract people that are really ready, that are like at the point where they're like, something needs to change now, and I'm fully ready to surrender whatever that looks like. And when someone comes to you with that energy, when someone's like, I don't really care what it takes, but I'm done with depression, I'm done with anxiety, I'm done being overweight, I'm done with the things that are holding me back. When someone's at that point, they shift like that.
Yeah, well, that's almost a placebo is ready to go for them to get them over the line. It's a beautiful space to be in. And I can resonate a little bit with that mixed with your story as well, where I did go deep into the analytical, logical side of the science and the spirituality and trying to read and understand all the textbook notions of it without the embodiment for a long time. And I was just hiding until, I basically got called out by a few coaches and a few mentors and got put through the ringer, and still going through that process, which is exciting and scary all at the same time. But Barry, I want to see if we can deep dive down into what you just brought up, which is that we aren't separate. There is no separation. And I'd love to hear you talk on that for a little bit, because this is something that I've been experiencing in many different ways and being challenged by the universe and the world around me in many different ways. And I just love hearing and learning more about different understandings and perspectives and ways of articulating this. So I'd love to hear your take on this.
Yeah, of course. So one thing that I've grown to do when it comes to the spiritual text, I mean, there's the science behind spirituality, like the Bruce Lipton, the Joe Dispenza, which are beautiful, powerful, key pillars of everyone's journey. You know, Bruce Lipton's book, Biology of Belief, and then Joe Dispenza, You Are the Placebo and Becoming Supernatural, all those incredible books, they are foundation for a lot of people that are having their awakening. You know, and what I've also found within that as well is really letting go of trying to read too much about spirituality and really making it an internal, intentional journey within self. You know, because that then creates a sovereign being. That then creates someone that is unique in themselves. They're not somebody that has been told what to believe or told how to believe based on other people's perceptions. It's somebody that has sit and has learned from meditation, learned from breathwork, learned from their intuition, learned from experiential things. You know, so I've gone through places of like reading and not reading, but I'll come back to your question, which is, you know, talking about separation. I think that reading has its place, but what can be more potent is a space to express yourself where you don't feel like you're separate from, or something is outside of you. And the reality of it is, you know, the only people I generally tend to connect with or listen to in regards to that mentor me are people that are in a space where they're open. They're not trying to tell me what to believe or how to believe. They're creating space for me to unfold the way that I need to. And they're also, and this is what we do as well, is dissolve the hierarchy, dissolve the pedestal, dissolve the need to be helped, and rather support somebody. You know what I mean? So it's like the model of like jumping on a sales call as a coach and making somebody feel like they're broken to then be the solution to that problem, I feel is, well, it's disgusting, quite frankly. And it's one of those things where it's like it's a making somebody feel like they need you to then be able to sell them something, you know. And the reality of it is the focus should be connection. And when you connect with somebody, it should be, does this feel aligned for us both to embark on this journey together? Because then from the beginning, you're creating that connection and you're not creating a separation between them, you know? So yeah. There's this, oh man, there's so much I could speak on this, you know. There's this, what I love about the deep, intimate breath sessions that I do is it continually teaches me how much the same we actually are. Because I've had people that aren't into any self-development, don't read any books, and they're on the mat and they're breathing with me for 2 hours, and they have a phenomenal experience where they cry and they gurgle and they tone and they might throw up, they might do anything, it's like a plant medicine journey. Anything could unfold. And then I'll have one of the most powerful leaders that everyone knows really, really well on the exact same mat, and the exact same experience unfolds in front of me. The same level of crying, the same level of pain, the same level of anxiety, the same level of whatever the human condition can create and can manifest through us is exactly the same. You know, so I think that for me, from a place of humility, what's really taught me the deeper level of humility and non-separation, non-judgment, and non-attachment is just seeing all different people that I looked up to, people that, you know, really needed my support potentially at that time, and for them all to be exactly the same. You know, because when it comes to trauma in the body, when it comes to energy stored in the body, when it comes to, you know, people going into their victim story and they're like, oh, you know, you don't understand because this happened to me at this age, and because of that, now I'm this person. Trauma gets stored in the body exactly the fucking same. Somebody can have the same level of trauma from a breakup as from losing that same person, a loved one. Some people can have the same level of trauma from, you know, getting slapped in the face and being screamed verbally at and cursed at, as somebody that has been sexually assaulted in a really, really deep way. The body stores trauma exactly the same. The body doesn't know the difference, and that's where it stays. Yeah. The mind creates a story about that then holds it, makes it deeper, makes us it re-punishes us over and over and over again, which then creates that separation. But the reality of it is we all have the same energy, the same blood, the same everything in our body. And the more we dive into the deeper work, it's just like, you are me, I am you. And if anybody ever looks at you or me or somebody that is guiding and coaching or leading from the front, whatever it may be, the only thing they're actually seeing is a reflection of who they could be should they choose.
Yes.
Because should they choose? Because everyone's capable of the exact same thing. And if someone sees me or sees you or sees someone like Preston Smiles or sees like Kate Chiffy Gray, our beautiful friend, if someone sees like, I go, she's so amazing. The only reason why we are here is to show you what is possible for you should you choose. That's the main function of our presence.
Yeah. It is so good as well.
Exactly.
And I used to find it hard to accept compliments.
Yep.
A while back, I remember, and I think that was a bit of a catalyst to go, well, I love getting compliments now, because now it's almost like it's a show of how I'm giving someone that, exactly what you're saying, like that potential of what they could be, so they choose.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
And that's what we're doing. We're opening up the door for them to see the truth. You know, one thing that I suppose I can celebrate about our mine and Abby's relationship is you know, not to go too deep into the story, but when people look at us, because we're so vulnerable and real and raw online, people are like, that's exactly how they are. And that is the truth about how we are. We're the quirky, the funny, the dancing, the singing, the whatever needs to come through. That's just how we are, you know. And
Yeah.
what I've grown to realize through many of my friends who I really look up to and respect saying to me is, just by you guys being you, without saying anything to us or telling us anything, you are showing us what's possible, which then therefore inspires us to feel like we can create the same. Which is just this crazy, crazy, crazy experience. And that relationship's only a reflection of the work we've done on ourselves. That's all that it is, because we're just a reflection of each other, you know. So.
And with that, did you find that took pressure off the feeling or the need to deliver like value or certain like bits and pieces that maybe once you would have felt the pressure that of people needing and wanting stuff from you, but you know that, okay, let me rephrase that. What I've experienced and what I'm hearing is that very, very quickly I'm recognizing the same thing, that everyone's got the same sort of challenges, the same pains, the same obstacles, the same goals and objectives and achievements they want to do as well in life. It's just colored a little bit differently. And when I recognize that what I'm doing is in just showing up here is allowing them to draw strength for them to go and do that and implement that in their lives. It almost doesn't matter what I say, as long as I'm just showing up and being me and being authentic and just having a real raw conversation. The stuff that comes out is almost irrelevant. It's just the fact that me showing up is almost doing all the work for the people that from what I'm hearing and seeing. It's phenomenal. But yeah, so that was the question. Did you feel that pressure fall off and away from you in that need to deliver anything at that point?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest shifts that I noticed with myself, I can speak on my behalf, is that when I shifted from having to know everything to embodying more, everything shifted, you know, because then all of a sudden what was supposed to be me selling myself in any capacity went from just showing up as me without reservation, without holding back, without the need to have to say a particular thing or follow a particular system in order to achieve an outcome with somebody or with anybody, anything, you know. So I think that one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about is embodiment, and the reason why, like, embodiment as a concept, and the reason why is when we embody what we're talking about, we get to say less. You know, if I wouldn't unapologetically talk about liberation if I didn't think that I actually embodied it. If my lifestyle and my habits and how I show up didn't reflect that, I would never call myself that. You know, so it's how do you become the embodiment of your message so you have to speak less and you can show up more, and then you can just say whatever you feel intuitively comes through you, rather than having to study or find a system or a concept to attach to what you're trying to create. So people are always asking, what's our secret? And I'm like, okay, so I'll learn something, but then I'll take it so fucking deeper than anybody else ever will, to become the embodiment of it, so that people identify me as that person. So then I don't have to sell anything. They're like, you're the person to come to. Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we don't, what we experience in our business is we don't really feel like we're selling anything. We feel like we're showing up as our authentic self, and people are getting attracted to our vibration rather than us having to have some sort of crazy sales technique, you know. And then when we jump into any space to facilitate or to connect with somebody, just being ourselves. We're just showing up and creating space for that person to be themselves. And if that feels great, then that's perfect. And then if this feels good to move on, then perfect. You know, and just really, really dissolving all of the hierarchy and all of the systems and all the things that have gotten humanity to where we are now, which is perfect. It's where it needs to be in its masculine mindset. This framework we're working through at the moment is masculine, and it's slowly becoming more feminine. And it's not to say that it needs to become entirely feminine. It's more to say that it needs to balance out so that we can do business in flow, rather than always have things to be so regimented and have-tos and expectations and driving in such a directional way. It's like, what's going to lead to more fulfillment in our business, in our life, in our relationships is having a common intention or value system in line, and then creating plenty of space to flow and actually experience life as it comes up.
I definitely feel you, and I'm experiencing that more, especially with the Daily B show. It's given me a great platform to practice being in flow and just letting it go. What I am hearing from the ghosts of yesteryear and the people that have, and conversations that have come up, are the people that are stepping into something new. And I'm a new coach as well, and myself in this space. And where is that line, or what advice would you give to people that are still learning to find their footing in their industry, still finding their worth and their value, and then how to put themselves out there to feel like they have that value to add to people when they're not, or what am I asking? I think I'm asking, where's that line between learning your craft and then embodying and just working from flow?
Yes. Yeah. So one thing, like I'll give you an example. So when it comes into the categories of health, I'll give you an example. So let's just say one thing that I recommend, if somebody wants to start to study health, I would take 10 people or even 5 people that are where you want to be in their physical form, the way they show up, the energy they embody, their level of health. 5 people. Find their content, their books, especially if you're a coach, whatever it might be. If you're wanting to become a health coach, if you're already experiencing health and you want to get to the next stage, as an example, find the 5 people that you resonate with the most, that speak how you would speak if you were a powerful leader, that connect in the way that you do, that perceive science and whatever else as well as much as you do. And then begin to look at what are the common threads in those people, what are the common threads in all of those people that they're all saying. Because see, then the gray area on a scientific level is there's all of what science says, but science is great to a certain degree, but there's so much science that comes out the next year that disproves last year's science. So it's not as much as it feels and seems tangible, it isn't as tangible as we think it is. It's only because the person that's scientifically researching has gone, this is what it is, because they've come to a conclusion, not the actual truth. So it's looking at what are the common threads. And this goes for any type of leader, any type of coach. If there's like an array of coaches that people look up to, as an example, if it was Preston Alexi, and if it was Lisa Nichols, Mel Robbins, and Lewis Howes as an example. This is an example. Like, what's the common thread they all speak on? What's the most common message? And what are the parts that truly resonate within me? What are the characteristics? What's their essence? Because you don't want to be the same as somebody else, but there's a piece of their essence that you're attracted to. So it could be that they're in full self-ownership. It could be Lisa Nichols, the greatest storyteller I've ever seen. It could, like, it's the elements of the person that you're attracted to. So then how do you then take that within yourself and watch how they move, how they talk, how they communicate, how they connect with the people? How do you dive so deep into their realm that you're perceiving them from 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 12 months ago? How are they growing? What are the things they're speaking about on podcasts? What are the things that they're saying on a regular basis that lights them up? What are the things that you see when they're doing it? They are their full self. And really start to pay attention to the people that you look up to the most. And then from that place, then start to siphon out and go, okay, cool. These are the elements or the essence of that person that I like. For Lisa, it's the elements of, she tells beautiful stories. She's expressive. She's deep. If it's Lewis Howes, he's just grounded, humble. He's beautiful and he's masculine. He's so integrated. If it's Preston, he's that quirky spiritual guy that's just amazing and really, really loves life and just celebrates everything. If it's Kate Chiffy Gray, it's the fact that she's embodied spiritually and she's just so dropped in and so present and embodies love. All of these different people that have different elements, and find out what is it about that person, and then work towards, because one way to fast track is get coached by that person, if you have access to that. The other way, way is to dive deep into their content as much as you can, become religious with it, and then find out what are the parts that really trigger you and make you go, that's a bit of how I want to show up. And then how do I then create practices in my life where I practice doing the things that I see in others that I really admire.
Yeah, fantastic. It reminds me of the Think and Grow Rich book, where I think it was that one where he talks about having the visualization of the boardroom, and you have the people in there just like that, like the top 5 or 10 people that you respect, that you want in your boardroom, and you can actually have these visual conversations with them, and and get their advice from that. So
I actually haven't read that book. You know how many times it's come across my in front of me, and I'm like, I should read it, but I haven't read it yet. So yeah, maybe this is another sign to read that book.
it is time. I just listen to it maybe once every year or two. I just listen to it. I think it's on YouTube for free as well.
Yeah,
I'm a listener more than a reader, but no, it was a
yeah,
really good book. It was pretty instrumental for just getting my mind ticking over onto a few different thoughts and trains of thought compared to what I was brought up with. That's for sure.
yeah.
Do you have
Beautiful.
any books that you can recommend, brother?
Oh yeah, heaps.
Anything you're reading or?
Well, probably the two of the most potent books that I've read that were the Game Changers, and I've read since then more potent books. But for where I was in that moment, it was like a really big catalyst for me to call me into action. Were Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. That's a
Yeah,
fundamental, much like Think and Grow Rich, where I come back to that once a year at minimum, because it's just when I go back and read it at 26, then 27, then 28, it's a different book every time.
yeah,
That's usually my most recommended book. Conversations with God, just the first one is really, really key because it has the fundamentals of what it means to be spiritual in today's day and age, and it helps to break down all the dogma and all the BS and all the projection from every other leader. And it's like, this is the actual truth about who we are in this human experience. So that's been a really, really
okay,
instrumental book for me as well. I've since gone and read all, like more than that as well, with all those that series. And then The Alchemist is incredible. It's beautiful if you want to get taken on a journey. The Alchemist is, because it has all these
yeah,
hidden messages throughout the whole process. So what else is really, really powerful? The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. That was another instrumental book for me as well. It's one that I generally give to my clients before we get started, because he pre-frames from a scientific point of view, a more relatable, tangible point of view, what's actually happening in the body
yeah,
and our experience with cultural conditioning and energy in the body and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, The
yeah.
Biology of
Okay,
Belief by Bruce Lipton.
beautiful. I got blown away by the Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. I think I could barely talk for about a week after reading that book. Blew me away. But when
Yep.
I was in grade 6, my mum gave me How to Win Friends and Influence People, moving
Yep.
into high school, and man, that transformed that little kid. Yeah, from not knowing what was going on and realizing that if I just use what's up here and change a couple little things, I'm like a little puppet master. And it was full on, just a few little tweaks. So yeah,
Yep.
that's something that I go back to and recommend a lot as well. But
100%.
the
Just on the just
autobiography of a yogi as well.
sorry.
The autobiography of a yogi was something that just came across my path recently that was pretty mind blowing as well.
Amazing. I was
Yeah,
just gonna say, I went through a period where in about 2 years, I must have read about 300 books. I was setting myself little challenges to just go deep,
yeah,
and I went all different directions. I went philosophy, psychology, I went emotions, behavior, health, science, everything, like every single direction.
yeah,
And what I recommend to people now is, how do we, instead of saying to someone, oh, you should read 100 books in the next 6 months to a year, because it can be done, and it's also a lot of time. I had the blessing of working with my hands whilst listening with my ears. So I was working with my hands, and I could spend 8 hours a day of listening. So I had that blessing.
yeah, perfect.
But not everyone has access to that. So what I would say is, over the course of a year, find 10 really next level books. Like, what are the most recommended books? The ones that are old school classics that get the most results for people. What are they? Read them as like twice, 3 times, in close proximity within a month, and actually do the work to embody what's in the books right before you pick up the next book. So it's almost like you could
Yeah,
do one book a month, and you read it in the first week, and then you start to take notes and highlight and do all those things and really, really dive into the full experience of that book. And before you move on to the next concept or book, start working towards integrating those things and set practices in your life that really, really, really get you to a place of embodiment.
yeah,
So
beautiful.
to get to embodiment, it's like, what are the things that are in this book that are tangible that I can do and practice right now? If it's different
Yeah,
styles of meditation, if it's little breath hacks, if it's little things to try in conversations, if it's things to try on sales calls, if it's things to trial, whatever the space is, in conversations, communication, whatever it might be. What are the hacks, and what can I implement now? What can I experiment with my friends? Because before I started charging for coaching, I was coaching for free with all my friends, and it was them saying to me,
Yeah.
dude, you've got to fucking charge me for this shit. This is changing my life every single day. What are you doing? And enough of my friends yelled at me to the point where I'm like, okay, cool. I need to honor myself. So
Yeah. That's amazing. That's beautiful, man. And so can you share what you and Abby are up to 2019, what you guys have in the pipelines, how these guys can reach you, how these guys can work with you if they'd like to reach out and work with you guys as well, and yeah, what magic you're going to be bestowing upon us in 2019?
yeah, of course, man. So what's coming up right for us next, and it's all everything that we do is linked to a higher reason and intention. The overall intention is to activate a tribe of embodied integrated leaders, people that step forth into the world and stand in their power authentically, courageously, compassionately, and see no space between them and anybody else. And they have the ability to hold such a vibration that just by you being in their presence, it lifts the energy of the room, lifts the energy of wherever that person is, and shows people what they're actually dreaming of. Because people think they know what they want until they actually experience what they've been looking for their entire life. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, well, that's actually what I really, really want. So we're through Become and Embodiment. Become is essentially the first stage, and it's like the flagship program where we go deep on different layers: health, mindset. We go into spirituality. We go into like rituals and breath work, meditation. We give you guys heaps of different styles of and ways of improving your health, becoming more conscious, more present, more healthy in every sense of the word. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We dive into money story and relationships and all of the juicy stuff that everyone loves so much. That's Become, and that's designed to be an 8-week program that gets people a monumental transformation that fast tracks their self-development journey, and that goes for 2 months. And then we have Embodiment, which is like our flagship retreat, which is a deep dive. There's barely any speaking from our end. It's all just experiential shit. It's basically just diving deep into the deepest modalities, from breath work to meditations to dynamic meditations to dance to plant medicine to just every single thing that we can do to activate and actually achieve the deeper layers of embodiment, which is from that place is where we attract, because we attract in our life what we embody and from a place of where we're storing trauma in the body. So if we've got a wound around a particular relationship or our parents, and we haven't resolved it, and then we continue to attract the same thing in a relationship, it's coming from what you embody, the trauma you're embodying from that event. So a lot of the work is in removing all of those blocks, all the energy from the body, coming back to wholeness, and then attracting from that place.
It's bloody good to me. I mean,
yeah.
That's fantastic, man. And I'm just so grateful, man, that the people that are coming out of the woodworks, the people that I'm able to reach out to and hold on to and just be a part of, such as yourself and Abby. And I see Marie just jumped on, and all you guys that are here. It is blowing me away, like how much velocity and momentum you can pick up when you just take one step in front of the other one and just keep stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing your butt and really striving for more as well. So yeah, I'm really grateful to have you here, to be a part of what you guys are doing and to share this as well. And I guess just one thing as well, like I've started this 30-day go live challenge, which I've got people just jumping on and just getting out of there from behind the curtain and behind their insecurities to jump on and go live. And I can see just 30 days of that has such an epic transformational quality and healing quality about that process. And that's just a free little group just to hang out and support one another. So when you've got something like you guys have put together, which is 2 months of, or the Become is 2 months of embodiment work, I can only imagine how impactful that is going to be. I'm looking forward to going through it with you guys and anyone else that joins us as well. So yeah, that's awesome, man. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be, the beautiful thing about Become is it's deep, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's a fucking shitload of fun too. Because we got to experience that joy and bring that back into the place and really, really, really do what we're meant to do on this planet, on this earth. Come here to create, to flourish, to grow, to learn, to live, and to give. It's just all of those things into one juicy place and enjoy our life, man. This is why we're here. It's not all meant to be deep and heavy all the time. It's meant to be enjoyed.
That's the trap, isn't it? This personal development journey we go on. It's almost like we forget to have fun. We take it so seriously. It's trying to analyze and understand everything. But
Yeah, well, sometimes
mate,
we become so conscious we forget to actually enjoy our life.
yeah. Is there something that's coming up for you, bro, or something that you'd like to share with everyone that tuned into the Daily Bee today? Something you'd like to leave them with?
Yeah. See what comes through. I'll ask my higher self.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very simply is just that there's so much that we have access to in this modern day and age. And the most courageous thing that one person could ever do, that I'm starting to see more than I've ever seen before, is reach out for support if they need it. To whomever they feel can support them. It's to just reach out. Because the only thing that truly saved me was having people that I could reach out to that could remind me that I was safe, that I was whole, that I was complete. And that's everything. We're in this place where we don't have enough safe spaces for us to fully express ourselves, so we close ourselves off and suppress everything down. So and just know there's a lot of people out here that want to support, that know, even when you don't believe it, that you deserve to live an exceptional life. It's all here. It's all ready. It's ready to go, like right now. And this is the journey. It's fun. It's an exploration. It's scary sometimes. And on the other side of all of that is a life that you truly deserve.
Brother, every single one of my clients that I've been speaking to and other people that I've been in conversation with specifically this last week, that is so pertinent for what's going on in and around my network and the people here as well. And obviously, it's exactly what needed to be said. So thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, your love. I really appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to 2019 and what it holds for us and anyone else coming along for the ride.
Of course. It's an honor to connect with you, brother. And I look forward to the incredible journey of 2019. It's the rise of the embodied leaders 2019.
Keeping it real. Let's do it.
It's already happening.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in as well.
Thanks, guys. Have an incredible afternoon.
Enjoy. See ya.
See ya.